Welcome to Business Now, your go-to hub for sharp insights into the fast-shifting world of finance and enterprise. In this episode, we unpack the pricing of data or internet, dive into the fresh produce export market, and reveal what farmers are going through to supply some of the world's most in-demand fruits from Uganda. Plus, an exclusive sit-down with the team lead at Crested Capital on the best-performing counters at the stock exchange, and a closer look at the bold new moves by the central bank to boost Uganda's foreign exchange reserves. All that and more than just 20 minutes. Let's just get into it.
In the past, there's been a negative image about gold, yet the contribution you're making to the economy is significant.
Even the stock market has started to improve and give actually higher than what the bills and bonds are giving.
Internet is one of the highly taxed services that you can consume.
Multilateral Bank Afri-Exim Export-Import Bank has officially commissioned its first Afri-Exim Bank Africa Trade Center today in Abuja, Nigeria, ushering in a transformative era for trade and investment in Africa. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Republic of Nigeria, described it as a pivotal thing in shaping Africa's economic future and the significant impact in it. It is poised to make Africa's trade and investment landscape very, very important. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable General Odong Jeje Abubakar, participated in a panel discussion during the ongoing Antalya Diplomacy Forum on the theme, and I quote, "Connecting Africa, a prospect for connecting integration." The Minister of Foreign Affairs highlighted the urgency of promoting connectivity in Africa through infrastructure, trade, and digital connection. He also spoke about the challenges and opportunities for Africa integration and emphasized the importance of uplifting Africans into the money economy, value addition in production, and attraction of foreign direct investments, as well as building a continental single market. Let's stick with commercial diplomacy. His Excellency Farid Kalisa, Ambassador of the Republic of Uganda to the Democratic Republic of Congo, presented his letters of credence as Ambassador Extraordinary and to His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, on 10th April 2025 at State House in Kinshasa. Now, Ambassador Kalisa requested His Excellency President Tshisekedi to consider appointing a substantive ambassador of the DRC for the Republic of Uganda. On his part, President Tshisekedi pledged support for the restoration and security of the ambassador, diplomatic staff operating in DRC and the diplomatic mission. Coming up on Business Now, how your data is priced and why internet in Uganda remains very expensive for users.
Internet is one of the highly taxed services that you can consume.
Ever wondered why your internet bill is so high or what you're really paying for? We break down the hidden costs behind Uganda's data prices and reveal where the money goes. I sat down in an exclusive interview with the Chief Executive Officer at Liquid Telecom to find out what high taxes on broadband and inadequate infrastructure mean to the last consumer.
People associate with farms like this, the data centers.
True.
Actually,
yes.
all this full of servers and all that. So where are we? What are we about to see?
So, the truth is that as we transform, we're moving into different areas. Data center is an enabler in that it provides the basic infrastructure just like fiber. We have an extensive fiber network which we built over the years, more than 100,000 kilometers. As a result of building this fiber, we moved into an adjacent industry, which was data centers and cloud, and now we're making that final step into the artificial intelligence, which is the actual applications people use. I actually believe that Liquid in particular has played a very dramatic and important role in reducing the price of internet. We were the first people to bring undersea cables to Uganda, and as a result of that, we decreased the price of wholesale internet to other providers by 500%. That was in 2009. In addition to this, we've built a robust African network in all the neighboring countries that enables us to deliver high quality, low cost wholesale internet. Maybe coming down to the retail consumer level, these changes have not filtered down all the way. Part of it is tax policy. Internet is one of the highly taxed services that you can consume. Direct taxes on internet can account for up to 32% of the cost. whereas providers may want to charge less. A big part of the charges are taxes. That being said, there are moves we're making to make it more affordable even to the end user. We've started a lot of infrastructure sharing, which is where multiple providers use the same infrastructure to deliver services to the end user, and this creates economies of scale.
What is the impact, on the cost of internet if you look at the whole pricing of data?
Yeah, absolutely. I think infrastructure is the biggest component. As telcos, we're constantly investing and maintaining infrastructure. The wider we make our networks, the more our maintenance costs go up. Like I said, one of the ways to address this is infrastructure sharing, where we can share this cost across operators and get those savings and pass them on to the consumer.
Is that the biggest problem?
I think that also we have to be realistic about the situation. We've not yet achieved the coverage we'd like to achieve, and it's an ongoing process. In some countries, there's 100%, for example, fiber optic coverage. In Uganda, we're not yet there, although we'd like to get there in the near future. The regulator has a very important part to play here in terms of creating the right regulatory environment that encourages these investments to come into Uganda.
Do people really know how internet is priced? Is that a secret you want to tell?
It's not a secret. I think the consumers need to understand the different types of internet. Many people are familiar with data bundles, which are the most common accessed data service in Uganda. These are usually volume-based, as you said. And because unless you're highly technical, it's hard to know how much volume of internet you'll use to consume a particular service.
I mean, there's a guy loading internet on his phone, and before you know it's gone, and he's blaming the telco.
Well, this is the challenge. So I think that it's about knowing the appropriate solution. There are very many home internet providers, such as Liquid, who provide unlimited internet. And by unlimited internet, we mean that on a time basis of, say, 1 month, you can consume as much data and as much services as you want within your coverage. So I think for somebody who's more concerned about their consumption patterns, unlimited internet is the solution.
Okay, you're a bulk data shop. What would be your parting shot to a guy who buys data, who uses data?
I would highly suggest that they do maybe visit our website. We do have many offerings besides bulk data. We provide retail packages. We also provide hotspots. And I would advise that they maybe try our hotspot service. It's also a very good solution for them.
Uganda's fresh produce market is full of potential, but also pitfalls from farm to market. We expose the logistical and economic hurdles hurting farmers and exporters, and what it will take to fix the supply chain. I visited one of the exporters' pack house to see firsthand what goes into the process and where the opportunities for Uganda's smallholder farmers are.
Lately, there's a lot of interference by the exotic varieties. Now, our indigenous varieties are slowly disappearing. Now, when you talk about the production sustainability, there is a little bit of seasonalities in Uganda. So we have a lot of production in seasons where there is a lot of climate, the climatic conditions are favoring, and then we have sometimes of the product scarcity during dry seasons. Reason being, the irrigation model has not been properly adapted fully, especially by farmers on upland production. Troponines exports to Europe. We export to Europe, to the Eurozone, to the Middle East. We export to the UK. We take a lot. The market is, if you look at the graph of the market share, you realize Uganda is not yet we're not yet above the line. So there's a lot of opportunities for Ugandans to explore these markets. Some of our neighboring countries have already gone some 20%, 30% of market share in Europe. We haven't yet gone past 5%, so we have opportunities. But above all, farmers should be supported. The farmers should be able to enjoy these profits because if you look at an invoice, an exporter's average invoice, 60% goes to the airline, 30% goes to the farmer. So that money that we earn from an invoice of $1,000, $300 goes to the farmer. But the reason why the farmers are not benefiting is the cost benefit analysis. The benefit per unit area. There's a lot of post harvest losses. A farmer will deliver 100 kilos of this, 100 kilos of this, and then you realize that they have pests. They have been affected by pests.
Okay.
They have been affected by diseases, by plant diseases. They have been affected by post-harvest damages and trauma.
And so this is going. Yeah, this is not going into the box.
This is not going into the box. We only pay for what we export, unfortunately. So what we don't export, we agree with the farmer. Yeah, up to 40% of post-harvest losses the farmers incur. When granules are produced, we pick the right sizes, the right seeds that pass through a sieve. Those are now when you're exporting seeds that pass through a sieve for the export quality. When you're exporting to Kenya, it's even worse. Those guys at the border have a mesh, and they pour your granules on the mesh, and whatever passes through the mesh does not qualify for grade A. They give it another grade, so farmers lose a lot. Farmers are finding problems with post-harvest handling, loss of shelf life because of a poor infrastructure by the exporters. As you bring your produce, most exporters don't have cold rooms. They don't have cold trucks. So we need an improvement in this area entirely and urgently. Then we should combine it immediately with improved production. Because I can see all NGOs and government programs are supporting production, but they are not supporting the market sustainability. We are the market. We are the ones. So we need infrastructural support that we can be able to accommodate. We need to be certified. We need to have confidence from our clients, from the market. We are the ones that represent the face of this country. I need to have certifications, the process certifications, the HACCP. I need to have Global Gap. So when we have these certifications, then our farmers will enjoy the fast-moving and reliable market. And affordable finances is number 3 in terms of ranking. Affordable finance, we need support. We need support in these areas, more support and genuine support at a good percentage, so that we are able to sustain the market here.
Collins, thank you very much. You're welcome to Business Now. And we've had a conversation previously about dealing in gold. Let's first start there. And that was to do with the taxes in URA and stuff like that, Ministry of Energy, conversations back to back and forth. So first bring us up to speed. What has been happening?
A lot has been happening, especially to do with the two tax regimes that have been competing. One was to pay $200 per kg, and the other was to pay a percentage. And eventually, the resolution is around. Those, if you refine it to 99%, then you do the $200 per kg. But if you are still at Dory bars, less than, say, 96 or 97%, and you want to export, then you'll be charged the percentage. So the two regimes are still operating, and that is basically how it's now working. So for this first time, Bank of Uganda, the leader of the banking and financial system, is now purchasing gold, a client buying gold, which now is bringing these two together. What this will do, those who may be from the financial system, they may be worried because in the past, there's been a negative image about gold. Anyone talks about, I'm a gold dealer or I'm a gold miner, the first thing, nobody looks at you positively. Yet the contribution you're making to the economy is significant. In the past, when Bank of Uganda had increased the capitalization or minimum capitalization of banks to about 2-3 years back, many banks struggled to attract investment, which showed that our financial system is not attractive. Now, when the world hears that gold is behind our financial system, it means that we are now have joined the league of others that have gold, like Switzerland, London, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Singapore. They have gold behind them.
But let's talk about what that is going to do to the growth of the sector itself, which has been, largely, let me say, controlled by a small group of big refineries and perhaps maybe miners. What is that going to do to the expansion of the gold sector in the country?
There's going to be a lot of expansion, especially in refinery. The biggest business is in the trade area, not so much the mining. Large scale will come in, miners will come in, and they'll take a lot of big chunks of areas to exploit. However, trade is now going to become very lucrative. Refining, smelting, exchange, legal services, and when you see professionals have come in now auditing how to help someone put together their paperwork, storage facilities, security, we're going to have more guarantees in this area. But it's very important to think about also the impact on the sovereignty. A statement to the world that you have gold improves on the sovereign, is a sovereign statement. That's why nations publish and say Germany has this amount, Russia has this amount of gold. It's a statement that you cannot just shake us with either if tariffs come or what do you call it? Like if Uganda does, like when we did the anti-homosexuality bill and we had threats that we are going to be sanctioned, then Uganda can stand and say, if we have gold, we will be stable. We can back up our economy. But it's also going to inspire many other countries to do the same. And the best thing I would also think, besides Bank of Uganda purchasing gold for government of Uganda, is to set up vaults for other people to store their gold in Bank of Uganda.
Because have you been having issues previously of, to do with standards? The purity of the gold and, the standard. Have we been having issues? What is it like? What has it been like in the
standards vary. Gold in itself, whether it's 97 or 99, is really not a big issue. Not a big issue. It is a small margin, and it's valuable, very strong. However, the standards are around behavior. How do we relate when we are doing this? Who am I dealing with? Standards are around environment concerns and the like. Value system, the one you're trading with may have an interest in the environment or the source. Are the workers or the miners paid well? Are they, values? Those kind of standards, and these are international standards. Other standards are anti-money laundering standards, checks, and by others are anti-terrorism standards. But just to give you, when it comes to standards, it's so much about how are we exchanging this commodity. It is so powerful that in its right, wherever it stands, it is valuable. There is a risk of cartelling, that this industry is likely to be segregated to a few. And they say only the few can now trade gold. And now you're mining, you have to go through a certain few people, like maybe go through only refineries or go through so and so. Then you can now sell. That's the biggest risk that we face. So we need a culture that encourages local people. Because BAU has started, let local people buy.
I need to know what has been going on in terms of security, Is that going to improve?
With many buyers losing money to scammers, government's commitment has been challenged on security. Security during transportation and security in storage. But now that government has a stake also as a buyer, most likely security will be increased. And hopefully, what Magufuli did in Tanzania to increase circulation of gold in the local, he said if you have gold within the country, you don't need paperwork. And nobody should stop you, arrest you, or take away your product. But if you're taking it across borders, then you present paperwork. You'll see policies around gold changing quickly. The other thing is, for a long time, gold has been perceived as a mineral and managed by Ministry of of minerals and energy and mineral development. So it's seen as a raw material. But we had not yet come to the place of looking at it as a currency. When now BOU purchases it, it means there's a new culture, a new mindset, a new community that will start looking at gold as a currency.
They are rising, resilient, and redefining value. Meet the Black Diamonds, the top performing companies on Uganda's stock exchange, and why they are leading the investment value. But that's not all. Crested Capital, a participating member of the Uganda Securities Exchange, tells us these are returning yields higher than bonds and securities. Can you believe it? So I need you to give us a background of the Black Diamond companies and why are they in that status?
The background is black diamonds. You know, diamonds are rare stones. Yes, and over the years we've been looking at not many stocks returning as much. You know, people have been opting for government bills and bonds. Yes, but of late we've seen that even the stock market has started to improve and give actually higher than what the bills and bonds are giving.
High return.
So we came up and said, okay, this year, because this is an update of our first one. So let us see which stocks are really returning to the public, because we also realized that maybe our market is not performing this much because of maybe lack of the information about what's happening actually on the market. What's the performance? And basically, if you look at the Black Diamonds actually trading, yes, because one thing maybe that we didn't capture well in the report, and maybe some people missed it, that return you see in that report on the Black Diamonds, unrealized gain, yes? Because you know, a capital gain is the delta between what you buy at and what you sell at, yes? But you only gain that if you transact, yes? If you don't transact, then you've not attained that return, yes? So when you see maybe a 70% on Airtel, you who have not traded that stock, you've not gotten that. Maybe you've gotten the yield, yes? Because that's a dividend that was paid to you, yes?
So these huge numbers we're seeing in the total shareholder return, what is driving these numbers apparently?
For the
company performance, is it what changes have you heard of? What is happening in the market that is driving this good performance of these companies?
Yeah, it will be surprising for me to see a company or to be in the Black Diamonds, yeah, and it has not returned a dividend. It will be very tricky, because that means that that company did not return a dividend, but its share price is performing very well. Yes, I'm yet to see that. But most of those that you see have a dividend attached to their capital gains. And remember, most of the companies listed on the exchange that are major, the local listed ones, their price appreciations are basically triggered by dividend announcements. So we saw that, you see, like for example, if I could say Baroda, notably, last year they gave a dividend of 2 shillings per share, and this year that doubled to 4. So that caused that jump in price. So
as we anticipate
yes.
Dividend payments going
yes.
forward, what is that likely to do to prices in the stock markets of some of these key companies, the most attractive companies?
Yes, you know, as I said, for me to sell off my share when I'm expecting a dividend, I may sell off my stocks at a premium. So if the stock is maybe 100, I'll demand 100 to 100, depending on how much the dividend will be. Yeah, but also the person buying it will also want to earn that dividend. So demand and supply have to meet somewhere for that price.
That's
the
fantastic.
right price.
Thank you, Kevin Batima. But now, as you go, tell us
Yes.
what is the best time for someone to invest in equities? Someone is looking at you now saying, oh, I should go there now. What's the right time to put their money in?
As investment advisors, we always tell people that the best time to invest was yesterday, but the second best time is now, because you can never wait forever. You get? Come enter, but most people say buy low and sell high, but you can never know how low it is and how high will it go. Yes? So the best thing to do is come and be in the space, the investment space. And
you've just thrown the ball in the middle. You said
yes.
Now you've given people alternatives that some equities are actually returning better than bonds.
Yes. Yes.
So there's someone now thinking, okay, one leg here, one leg there.
Yes, because the equities have risk. because of the fluctuation in price, and the other one is
And we've seen fluctuations
is flat.
in recent
Yes.
trading sessions.
Yes, the other one is like if you buy a bond, you are sure that my coupon is 14%. So every 6 months you get 14% of the money you've invested of your face value. It is constant. But with the equities or the shares, you can become a millionaire overnight. But that price can also go down, and I wouldn't want to say become a pauper, but your value lowers. But you'll become poor if you execute it at a lower price than you bought it at.
You can follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. And join us next week on Business Now as we bring you top business stories and top insights in what drives Uganda's economy.